Hello, I'm going to show you how to crochet this foldable flower market bag. To make this bag, I used 3.5mm crochet hook and some double knit yarn. We will start making the base of the bag. You make your magic circle and make 6 single crochet stitches into that magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can now close your circle. Next round we will be making 2 single crochet stitches into each stitch from the round below. So find your first stitch and make 2 single crochet stitches into that. And now get your stitch marker and mark your very first stitch, because it is a lot easier to see where you need to finish your round when you get back to your stitch marker. And just keep making 2 single crochet stitches into every stitch from the round below until you have made 12 stitches all the way around and you have reached back to your stitch marker. Now you made it all the way around, take out your stitch marker and we will put it in the first stitch of the next round. Next round is going to be single crochet stitch into the very first stitch, and the next stitch will have an increase stitch, which simply means you're making 2 single crochet stitches into there, and you'll be repeating this. So single crochet first and then an increase stitch all the way around. Make 1 single crochet stitch first and then make 2 into the following stitch, and that is your increase stitch. Next round we will be making 1 single crochet stitch first. Let's just mark that one again so we know where we are. Then we're going to make an increase stitch, but after that we're going to do another single crochet stitch, and that would be the pattern repeat for this round. So first single crochet stitch, then an increase stitch and another single crochet stitch. Let's do this again. Single crochet, increase and another single crochet stitch, and we're repeating this all the way around until you get back to your stitch marker. Just doing single crochet, increase and single crochet. Next round we are going to do 3 single crochet stitches first and then doing an increase stitch. So again, let's mark our very first single crochet and do 2 more, second one and third one, and now make an increase stitch, and we're repeating this all the way around. So you make 1, 2, 3 single crochet stitches and then making an increase stitch. Just keep repeating this all the way around. Next round we will be making 2 single crochet stitches followed by an increase, followed by another 2 single crochet stitches. That's 2 single crochet stitches. Now we're making an increase stitch, 2 into 1, and then another 2 single crochet stitches. and that is going to be your repeat pattern for this round. So 2 single crochet stitches first, then an increase stitch, and then another 2 single crochet stitches. Circulating the increased stitches like this will give you a much rounder circle. Instead, if you were doing 4 single crochet stitches first and then an increase, all your increases would be on the top of each other. This way it will look much nicer at the end of your project. Next round we will be making 5 single crochet stitches first and then doing an increase stitch. Put that marker there again. A second one, third one, fourth one, and fifth one. And now do 2 into the next stitch to make your increase. And we're repeating this again all the way around, like in all the other rounds, until you get back to your stitch marker. So 5 single crochet stitches first and then an increase stitch. Next round we will be making 3 single crochet stitches followed by an increase stitch followed by another 3 single crochet stitches. Let's do 3 first. Now make an increase and then another 3 single crochet stitches, and we are repeating this all the way around. So 1, 2, 3 single crochet stitches, now 2 into the next one to make an increase, and then another 3 single crochet stitches. Next round we are going to do 7 single crochet stitches before a increase stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now do your increase, making 2 into 1. And that is what we're going to repeat again all the way around. Make 7 single crochet stitches and after that make an increase stitch. Next round we are going to make 4 single crochet stitches first, then do an increase stitch and then follow it up with another 4 single crochet stitches. This is the increase stitch now, and then we're doing another 4 single crochet stitches for this pattern repeat. So there is 8 single crochets in total, but the increase will be in the middle of those 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now make your increase stitch and then do another 4 single crochet stitches. And again, keep repeating this all the way around back to your stitch marker. Next round we will be making 9 single crochet stitches before our increase stitch, and this is going to be the last increase round. make your 9 single crochet stitches, then do an increase and repeat this all the way back to your stitch marker, 9 single crochets and increase stitch all the way around, and you have finished increasing the bottom of your bag by the end of this round. We now have a nice flat bottom for our bag, but we are going to do 2 more rounds. We're going to do 2 rounds of single crochet into every stitch. Just carry on making 1 single crochet into each stitch from the round below, and do this for 2 rounds. So pause your video here and then come back after you've done the 2 rounds of single crochet. And I've just got to the end of these 2 rounds, and next round we will be working into back loops only. So find your back loop, get your front loop and your back loop, and go straight into the back loop, making 1 single crochet into each back loop all the way around, just picking up only the back loop of your work, and keep going all the way around. At this round you are having 66 stitches, so if you want to count just to make sure you have 66, it's probably a good time to do it now. We are now starting to make the mesh side of the bag. Single crochet into the first stitch of the next round, and again let's mark the stitch. It will be useful for us to know where it is later. Then chain 5, and we're going to skip 2 stitches and making a single crochet into the following one. Again, chain 5, skip 2 stitches and make a single crochet into the next stitch. And this is what we will be doing for the first round. Keep going, skipping 2, making a single crochet, and then chain 5 in between. Those are creating the meshy loops for your bag. When you get to the end of your round, we are only going to chain 2 and make a double crochet into that first single crochet stitch, and that's why we left the stitch marker there, so we can easily see where we need to make that double crochet stitch. And now we start in next row, chain 1 and single crochet straight into the first loop. Again, let's mark this stitch with a stitch marker, and we are going to chain 5 and work your single crochet right inside the next loop. You don't have to work it into a stitch, you just go right in the middle of a loop, chain 5 again, and find your next loop, and again single crochet into that loop right in the middle of a space, not into the stitch. This is going to be now our repeat for this round, all the way back to the stitch marker. Again, we are nearly back at the end. We're just going to do 1 more chain 5 and single crochet, and when you can see your stitch marker in the next loop, we are not doing a chain 5, We are only going to do chain 2 because we're going to double crochet into that first single crochet, and that's how we always end up on the top of the very last, or if you want to call it very first, the loop of the round, and it's just easier to start the next round when you're at the top. So again, chain 1 and single crochet into that loop and mark that stitch, and chain 5, find the next loop and single crochet in the middle of that loop. This is how the bag is made. You're just going to make chain 5 and single crochet into next loop all the way around back to the stitch marker, and just before you get to the stitch marker you're going to chain 2 and double crochet. Let's keep going all the way around. We're repeating this for 15 rounds, so if you want to pause your video and then come back once you've done your 15 rounds of mesh, I will show you how we are adding the handles to your bag. But just one more time, I'm just going to show you how to finish off the rounds. So you see you go back to your stitch marker, chain 2 and double crochet into that first single crochet stitch, and now you're ready to start your next round. Chain 1 and single crochet and mark that stitch again with the stitch marker, chain 5 and single crochet into the next loop. I have now made my 15 round repeat of the mesh pattern, and I'm going to do my double crochet into where my stitch marker is to finish off this round. And you'll see the bag is very stretchy, so don't worry if it looks a little bit small right now, it will stretch a lot when you start using it. We are now going to add handles, chain 1 and single crochet into the first loop and make another single crochet into the same loop, and we're now going to place 3 single crochet stitches into each loop, just all the way around, going straight into the loop and making 3 single crochet stitches into every loop all the way around. When you reach back to the loop where your stitch marker is, it only needs 1 more stitch in that one, and we're now going to continue in a circle. Instead of slip stitching to finish off, you're just going to go straight into that first single crochet and going to make 2 rounds of single crochet stitches all the way around, just to strengthen up the top of the bag. Just keep making 1 single crochet stitch into every stitch all the way around, and you should have 66 stitches all the way around. So if you want to count them, please do that. We have done 2 single crochet rounds now, and we are now going to add handles to our bag. First, we are going to make 8 single crochet stitches. So that was the first one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. We are now going to make a chain of 45. Do keep counting your chains because your handles will need to match. So once you have done your chain of 45, we are then going to attach this back to the bag. But first we are going to skip 17 stitches from the round below. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and we're working into the 18th stitch. Make single crochet into there. We're going to make altogether 16 single crochet stitches now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. And now we are starting the second handle. So again, going to chain 45. Again, we're going to skip 17 stitches. And after skipping 17 stitches, we should have 8 stitches left to get back to our stitch marker. So we are going to now do 8 single crochet stitches and we arrive to where we left our stitch marker. And next round we are going to strengthen these handles we just made, making single crochet stitch into every stitch and also making a single crochet stitch into every chain of the handle. Keep making single crochet stitches until you get to your first chain, then working into the chains you have to make one single crochet stitch into each chain all the way across this chain, and you'll end up back towards your bag. It is a little bit fiddly this round. It's quite hard to see the chains, but just try to go into every chain without skipping any and just make one single crochet stitch into each chain all the way to the end, and we will be working across all the sides and all the chains back to the stitch marker. So we have done that and we have got back to the stitch marker. We will have just one more final round to do just to strengthen these handles a little bit more, but this round will be a lot easier because you will be working into single crochet stitches instead of working into the chains. So all we have left to do is make single crochet stitches all the way around into each stitch from the round below until you get back to your stitch marker. To finish off, we are going to make a slip stitch into the next stitch, then fasten off your work, cut the yarn, and all you have left to do now with this bag is sew in the little tail. We're now starting to turn this simple market bag into a foldable flower market bag. It's double-sided and the bag will be hidden inside. So we now need to make another side to our bag, what we've already made. So skip back to the video and make another circle until you have your 66 single crochet stitches around the circle. So now here's my circle, what I've made. You stop in just before you would start making back loop single crochet stitches. We're now starting to add the two sides of the bag together to make the flower. You will have the reverse side and then the right side of the bag. This is the right side and the reverse side is inside the bag at the moment. So we are now working with both of the reverse sides put together and both of the right sides are facing outside of your work, and we're starting to add those sides together. You will be going through the stitches of side 2 and then the front loop left over when you were making the bottom of the bag. Get your yarn what you want to use for your flower. I'm going to make this sunflower yellow, and you can attach it to any of the loops. So you just need to make sure you go through both the second side, the full stitch of the second side, and then the back, the front loops what are left over from when you were making the bag, and chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and then you will start making single crochet stitches attaching the two sides together. Make 1 single crochet into each stitch, and you just have to make sure that you are catching the stitch from the second side and then the first side, and you are attaching them together, the corresponding stitches. And we will be doing this until we have made 46 single crochet stitches, and you'll see that your bag is inside the two of the bottoms of this flower you're making, and just keep going around, just making 1 single crochet into each stitch. Just keep adjusting the bag so it's not in your way when you're working. It will have to stay between the two sides for now, and just keep going until you have made your 46 stitches of single crochet. For the last 20 stitches we will be working into the side 2 only, making single crochet stitches, because you need the opening where you can tuck your bag in and then pull it out when you're in the shop. So instead of going through both sides, we just go through one side here. Just make another 20 single crochet stitches until you reach back to where you started. Next round we will work into the front loops of these stitches what we just made. So go into the first front loop and make a single crochet stitch. Now chain 2, skip the next stitch, and then into the next front loop of the next stitch we're going to make a single crochet, chain 2 again, skip 1, and into next front loop you're going to make another single crochet stitch. And this is what we will be making all the way around. So single crochet into front loop, then chain 2, and then skip 1 and make another single crochet. Keep going until you get back to the beginning of your round. Once you've gone all the way around, we're going to slip stitch into the very first stitch we made, just to finish this round. And you have now created these little chain 2 loops, and we will be working into these loops in the next round. Into the first loop, we're going to make a slip stitch and chain 1 and a single crochet into the same loop. Now add your stitch marker here so you know when you've done the full round. Next loop, we are going to make 4 double crochet stitches, 2, 3 and 4, and then we're going to make a picot stitch, which is chain 3 and then slip stitch back into the first chain you just made, and then make another 3 double crochet stitches to finish your first petal. After you've done these, we are going to work into the next chain 2 loop, and the next loop will have just 1 single crochet stitch in, and now we will be repeating the petal sequence. So make 1, 2, 3 and 4 double crochet stitches, then chain 3 and slip stitch into the first chain, and then finish it off by making another 3 double crochet stitches into the same chain 2 loop. The next loop will have a single crochet in again, and let's do another petal together. So the next loop we will make 4 double crochet stitches, then chain 3, slip stitch into the first chain, and then make additional 3 double crochet stitches, and then make single crochet into next loop. And this is what we will be making now all the way around. You make your 4 double crochet stitches followed by a picot stitch, then 3 double crochet stitches all in the same loop, and the following loop will have single crochet. When you get all the way around and you finish with your last petal, your final stitch will go into the stitch where you left your stitch marker. So instead of making a single crochet there, because you've already made one when you started, you're just going to slip stitch into that stitch. So make your final petal and then go and slip stitch straight into the first single crochet. This is now one side of your flower done, so you can fasten off your work and sew in that tail. And we're now having to do all of these petals again on the other side of the flower, so we'll end up with a nice double-sided flower, so it doesn't matter which way you're looking at it, it will have petals either way. We're now going to work into the back loops which were left over when you were making the first round, and we will add another round of petals all the way around. So let's get yarn and attach it to any of these back loops left over, and we're going to start with creating the new loops for the petals again. So chain 1 and single crochet into that same stitch and mark it with your stitch marker. Then we're going to chain 2, skip 1 and then single crochet into the next stitch. So chain 2 again, skip 1 and single crochet into next stitch. This is going to be what we are doing all the way around. Chain 2, skip 1, single crochet. When you reach the part of the bag which hasn't got the flower coloured edge on, you will just be working into the back loops of the bag bottom and still doing the same. You're doing your chain 2, skip a stitch and work a single crochet into next stitch. It's just instead of going into that yellow round that I made originally, which will be on the other side of the bag now, as you can see, you are working into those stitches we didn't use when we did the first set of petals. So just keep going, making your chain 2 loops, just the same way all the way across this side as well. When you get back to the beginning, slip stitch to where your stitch marker is, and we are making another set of petals to go to the other side. So slip stitch into the first loop, chain 1 and single crochet into that very first loop, and after that we are going to do our petal repeat, which you already know. So you're going to make 4 double crochet stitches, and then after that we are going to do your chain 3 and slip stitch into the very first chain and make another 3 double crochet stitches. And this will be followed by a single crochet into the next chain 2 loop you made. And this is what you will be doing again all the way around until you get back to your stitch marker. So make 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochet stitches, chain 3, slip stitch into the first chain, and then make another 3 double crochet stitches all into the same chain 2 space, and then single crochet into the next space. Go all the way around and end up making a slip stitch into your very first stitch fast enough. All you got left to do now is sew in the 2 little tails and your bag is ready. And you can see that your bag can be folded inside this flower you just made, and then when you go out shopping you just pull your bag out, unfold it, and you can add all your shopping into it.